Good evening, Marcia. You can hear me well?
Yes, I'm hearing
All
you
right.
loud and clear, loud
Well,
and
thank
clear.
you for having me on your broadcast. I just, by way of saying that, I am not doing all those things at once. Those are past professions. I am retired now. I'm just a politician, wannabe right now.
You're a politician wannabe. And do you, and so I take it you live in Nevis.
Yes, I do. I live in Nevis. I've been back home since 1991. I was away in
Yes.
the States studying, and then I came back home 1991, started a business.
Mhm.
Actually, I've been to Barbados several times, spent 3 weeks perfecting my business plan at BIMAP. Is it still operating?
Really?
Yes, I
My map is
lived.
still operating, but oh, so you went, that's where you went.
Yes, I was
Wow.
required to go there by by my bankers to make sure my business plan was perfect. So I do thank them for helping me craft it way back when in 1991.
That is very that's awesome. And I'm hearing of the great work you are doing there in Nevis. I did my own little research on the ground there, and they told me actually that you were one of the first ones who raised this issue of the free society in Nevis, sir, where there seemed to be creating a nation within a nation, right there in Nevis. Can you tell us what about it that concerned you, and how did you learn about it? Because it didn't seem like the average Nevisian. I'm still learning to say that Nevisian. Am
You're
I
doing
saying
all
that
right.
correct? I'm good.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
The
Yeah,
average Nevisian did seem to not have known about it. What interested you about it, and how did you hear about it?
it was purely by chance, actually. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he mentioned the fact that he had been in contact with the wife of the premier
Mhm.
about selling his land and his family's land. They have quite a sizable holding in the area. And so he mentioned some key words which triggered me because he mentioned in the communication with them, they mentioned something about setting up a sovereign enclave, and that piqued my curiosity. And so I continued to look at the literature that he gave me and found out that there was this plan afoot to develop the sovereign enclave on the southeast of Nevis. In the first instance, they wanted to get their hands on 6 square miles of Nevis, which is about one six. Nevis is only 36 square miles.
Mhm.
And what really disturbed me that the push, the actual tip of the spear, was coming from the premier and his wife. She was the realtor. She is the realtor for these people, and he, of course, being the premier, it makes things a little easier for them to deal with the matter of acquiring this huge tract of land. And he at first, when the story broke in 2024, of course, he didn't get much traction because nobody believed such a ridiculous thing could happen.
Yeah, it sounded ludicrous,
It,
really,
it
when it
started
first.
totally
Yeah.
ridiculous. But it sort of went dormant for a while, and then happenstance happened again,
Mm-hmm.
where one of our persons in NRP at a town hall meeting, Ms. Carlin Lawrence, asked a simple question. Mr. Premier, I'm hearing there's going to be a development on the southeast. Is there any truth to it? And he flatly denied it and said it was a rumor. But that was in July of this year. And then by July, late July, the Special Sustainability Zone Act was passed in Parliament just a few weeks later, And so when he was pushed to give account, he said that he did have conversations with the developers, but no hard documentation had reached to him. But what is very disturbing, Marcia, is the fact that you had a situation where for 3 years, for 3 years, they were quietly acquiring significant tracts of land, which now, what we now understand to be totally over 1,500 acres in expanse. And so
Wow.
it was the best kept secret on Nevis. Not anymore. Unfortunately, we have not had sight of the proposed development agreement. The Premier has refused to release it. He has refused to release the 70 odd names of developers he said that are on the list. Um, the whole thing has been mired in secrecy. And as the introduction indicated, throughout the region, we are seeing a situation now where the people are being left out of the conversation and only brought in when there is a crisis. For example, now we have the bill being passed in Parliament on August 11th, 2025, and we only now having consultations. I don't understand the ridiculousness of this. How can you be having a consultation after the fact?
So they passed the bill. They passed the bill, and they're now having a consultation on it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
total disrespect to the people.
Yeah, can I tell you? And you see how you're saying, Barbadians? Do you hear what he's saying? That this is disrespectful to the people of Barbados. Don't we see that this is what has continually happened in Barbados, where bills are passed and then they have consultation afterwards?
It's highly insulting. I mean, the Premier has had meetings now with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. He has meeting with the Tourism Authority, with the Hotel Association. He has meeting with the church. He's planning meetings with the police and Sixth Form College, and then a general town hall meeting in the rest of Nevis. These things are ridiculously crafted because they're not willing to give an inch. They're simply informing us that they are going to have a town hall without any modicum of appreciation that the bill need to be repealed. The Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, is just as guilty about this. There is actually the belief that both are colluding on this matter over the fact that in the case of St. Kitts, you have a CBI, the Citizenship by Investment Program, that has been hemorrhaging, totally hemorrhaging, since the new regulations have been put in place. And whatever these persons have presented them, they see a revival in their fortunes by embracing this special zone. Because on Nevis, what is proposed are 10,000 settlers, all of which will have citizenship, Marcia.
Wow.
You can imagine that. If I go down into Bridgetown and drop 10,000 citizens of another country, how would you feel? Who will accept that?
I could tell you right now, we have a free movement. They're making into law, free movement within 4 Caribbean countries where they could just come in, and after 6 months, Dr. Daly, they could apply for citizenship right here in Barbados. And we're actually having a march on Saturday about that. So I know we would not be, tolerating anything like that in Barbados at all. And let me ask you something. These 10,000 persons, they're coming from places like where this guy is from. I mean, he seems like he's Dutch from a lot of.
They're coming from Europe. They're coming from America, Asia. Whole different culture, whole different custom, whole different everything, and they're packed. They're gonna be parked just 1 mile outside our capital city, Charlestown. They will have the power to vote immediately upon receiving their citizenship.
Immediately. Barbados, stop and listen to this man. He's a prophet.
Right.
He's speaking to you tonight, Barbados. This is exactly what Mia Motley. I know you all, Dr. Daly. Allow me to interject a little bit in here because we are here to educate, motivate, mobilize, and agitate. And I want my Barbadian people to realize that Mia Motley is doing the same thing. And a lot of you in Nevis and St. Kitts, you adore Miss Motley. But I tell you, she is doing the exact thing. Now, let me ask you something. So you're telling me that there's a chance that on Nevis, you might have more persons who you might have a greater number of people who are not of the African descent. for
It's
the
not a
first
chance.
time in Nevis.
It's not a chance, Marcia. It's not a chance.
What do you
It's a
mean?
prediction. It's a certainty.
Uh-huh.
It's a certainty. If you're
Yes.
starting with 10,000 and you have each person, these are adults, eh? This is the first wave, and they have in the average household 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're already gone to 14,000,
Mm.
right? Our
Wow.
population on Nevis is 13,000. So
Wow.
within a decade, we are going to be the minority.
So the black people will be the minority.
We'll be the
in
minority.
Nevis.
That is a fact. That's not a
Wow.
guess. That's a fact. That's not a guess.
And they get citizenship as soon as they get there, and they are going to be able to vote.
Of course. Now the premier, in his kind of illogical way, trying to appease and to quiet down the storm of protests about that particular fact, has said to the church of our people, lying to the church, that the government will introduce legislation that will prevent these particular citizens from voting. How ridiculous is that?
But
So you're not
wouldn't that be
saying you're going to create 2
unconstitutional?
different classes of citizens?
So hold a minute. Wouldn't that be unconstitutional if
Yes, it
they're
is.
citizens? How
It
they?
cannot happen. You cannot have 2 classes of citizens. You're either a citizen or you're not. You either have rights as a citizen or you don't. So he has come out and said, no. See, what's happening every time there's a crack in the dam, they try to poke their fingers to stop that leak. And then
Yes.
another crack opens up, they stick a finger in that one to try to stop that leak. And all of a sudden you have all these 10 fingers and 10 toes in this dam. And you're not getting anywhere because the law needs to be repealed. It is poorly crafted. As a matter of fact, there's evidence that the law was not crafted by the AG's chambers, the Attorney General's chambers. It was crafted by one of the developers. That is what
Wow.
is being said. Because how it is that you have a law crafted, it's so in favor of them, and we are in the worst of it. For example, the premier spoke eloquently about we are going to exact $75 million penalty against them if they breach any tenet of the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
All right? What he failed to tell people is what is our liability to them if we breach theirs. You want to take a guess, Marcia? What our penalty is if we repeal the law or we stop the development? Let's just suppose NRP wins the next general elections, and Dr. Hodge decides as the premier of Nevis, I am going to repeal this law. I'm going to stop this because it is not good for the people of Nevis. It's terrible
They
for the
can
people
sue
of
you.
Nevis.
Can they sue the government?
They will, because it's in the agreement. They have the power to sue the government to recover costs. But do you know what the penalty is if we repeal? Take a guess. They are charging us, we are charging them 75 million US if they walk away. Now, common sense will tell you, well, maybe we'll have to order the same 75 million US.
Right.
No,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
no. We will have to pay them 23 billion.
What?
Billion with a B if we withdraw from the arrangement.
No.
I'm telling you.
No, Dr. Daly.
So it is meant to prevent any incoming government to change anything, to handcuff any government coming in to this agreement. And you ask yourself, well, why is it like that? Who stands to benefit if this continues?
Can you repeat this? Repeat what you just said there for us. This is the Special Sustainability Development Act, okay?
Yeah.
And you're saying that if another government comes in and decides to repeal this law, that will allow 10,000 Europeans to live in Nevis in a separate state.
Yes.
Create a separate state within Nevis. Don't pay any taxes.
That's right.
Okay, they become citizens. They can vote, and if anybody repeals this, that you're telling me that that the country would have to pay $23 billion
US
and
dollars.
US dollars, but if they rescind on it, they are only 75 million. Who signed this? Who signed this agreement?
Well, they say it's not a done deal yet. The Prime Minister has said that the law, which is very true, the agreement has to come before the federal parliament for ratification. It has to pass to the NIA Assembly for ratification. But in the NIA Assembly, Marcia, the existing government has a majority. So that's a rubber stamp. So that's a done deal. On St. Kitts, the federal parliament is in agreement with Mark Brantley on Nevis. So that's a done deal. They don't have the vote to stop it. Right? My question today to the Prime Minister, are you aware that if the agreement is torn up and the bill repealed, that these people of St. Kitts and Nevis, not just Nevis alone, both islands will be liable for 23 billion US dollars worth of cost? Because they're not being honest with the people and telling them the real truth about the liability that we face if this thing goes south. They're not being truthful. They're being very opaque, very secretive. They're not being outright with the people. They're not being forthright with the people. And that is the greatest tragedy here. It is a tragedy on us because we have come through so much as a people to arrive at this point, only to give it away because of political expediency. The NIA is broke. They have $600 million debt against a GDP of 650 million. The recurrent revenue is stagnant. They are broke. And one of the reasons why these people have targeted St. Kitts and Nevis is because of that very reason. They target vulnerable, cash-strapped economies that are on financial ruin. And also, you have to be corrupt enough to go on that side. And that is what we face. We are facing a storm of persons who are corrupt, people who are incompetent, cannot lead, and have run the country broke. That is the tsunami that we are facing in this country. And I don't know how anybody in the right mind could look at this legislation and say, this is good for Nevis. You're giving up you know something, Marcia, to be honest with you. Imagine a place in Bridgetown, all right? Say 1 square mile of Bridgetown, that the Bridgetown police cannot enter because they have no jurisdiction. They cannot pursue a criminal into the zone because they have no jurisdiction. Imagine offloading cargo in Bridgetown Port, headed to the zone, and your customs have no control over it.
Well, can I tell you, Dr. Daly, we have something here that our Prime Minister is setting up, which is not like yours, directly like yours, but it's called a free zone. Yeah. And so she now there's a piece of land. I'm just letting you know what we're dealing with as well, Dr. Daly, is that there's a piece of land that was owned by the people of Barbados, and she actually gave it away free to the Afro-Exim Bank. Okay. And then we found out we got the agreement. Somebody sent it to us. They didn't put it up, but we got it. And in that agreement, sir, this bank has full immunity, all of the staff, for anything that they do on that compound or relating to the bank. So we're seeing a similar thing. It's like it's set up right there in Bridgetown, and it seems as though we're not sure that this is what is going to happen for the entire stretch. They're putting up a lot of hotels and creating a free zone. So that is just a step below what is happening here. They pay no income tax, no direct taxes, no taxes at all they pay. So it's a very similar situation that is happening. And don't forget, I don't know if you know, but in Barbados, Dr. Daly, what's going to happen now with this free movement is that after 9 months, those persons who come into the country, regardless of where they're from, they can apply for citizenship.
Oh, wow.
So while yours is a right on as they arrive, these can apply as soon as they arrive. I mean, 9 months later, wherever they come from, they could come from Holland, wherever they come in from, they are allowed to apply. So those are the things that we are marching about here in Barbados. So as you speak, sir, I'm connecting the dots here with Barbados and saying we are just one little step away from what is happening. So tell us more. We want to know, because we want to be able to see all the danger signs. Go right
Well, you
ahead.
see, we are on Nevis and St. Kitts, the guinea pig in the Eastern Caribbean, in CARICOM.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, in the English-speaking Caribbean, we are the guinea pigs. This has never been tried anywhere with any constitutional democracy. This is the first in the world. And we are the guinea pigs. Everybody's looking at us to see how this thing pans out. All right? And from what we are seeing here on the ground, it is something to be totally avoided. You lose control of the country. All right? Your neighbors are now billionaires with the power to corrupt the political process, to get whatever they want from government, if they're not the government. All right? The law as it stands now, one of the provisions in the law, which is very, very scary, allows the zone operators, the developers, to expand to any limit outside of the zone. So you may start, they say they want to start with 2,400 acres, which is about 4 miles. Still a huge tract of land, but the law permits them. And if you try to stop them, they sue you, because they have the power to sue you if you try to stop them from expanding beyond the 4 miles. You cannot stop them. It's in the legislation to be passed.
Wow.
Right? So these are the kind of control, these are the kind of red flags that the Bayesians need to understand. Where this thing starts is not where it's going to end. This is the first landing party to speak of. The rest are going to come. Because these people, these libertarians, which are really ultra-conservative, far-right people, they want, for years now, decades now, they want a country to call their own. Why don't they do it in Belgium? Why don't they do it in Canada? Why don't they do it in Asia or the UK or wherever else? Why come here? Because those governments will never tolerate it. Why are we tolerating it? I mean, are we this dense that we can't see for ourselves the danger that our leadership is dragging us down the drain with this nonsense? You know, what they're doing to us is criminal. Pure out treasonous criminality. Hidden in this idea that is development. It is not development, it's domination. It is pure out domination, not development. And people must know the difference. Because the world is full of special economic zones. The world is full of free zones. But this is the first one. And we are the ones on it with a population of 13,000, 46 square miles, barely hanging on for life. And these guys come along and we just open our doors to them and say, come in. One of the frightening things about this, Marcia, we have in our island here of Nevis the potential for geothermal energy. Initially, the government said, the existing government said, they're going to pair with the federal government to develop geothermal. They got some money from the Saudi fund, they got some money from CDB. Now we are hearing, oh, forget all that. Forget all that. We are going to link up with the same zone developers to provide the financing for geothermal. Right? Now, imagine you have now moved as a developer who promised Sustainability, mind you. You
Right.
said the sustainability factor is what sells, is what going to sell this development. Now you remove the fact that they were responsible for their own energy to now you giving them your energy. So you know as a division, we know as divisions, we'll be buying power from them.
Oh my gosh.
You understand what I'm talking about?
These people
We
need
will now
to be
be
removed.
buying power from the settlers.
But Dr. Daly, I can't believe these are leaders that were elected, duly elected by the people of Nevis, and they would have sold out the country like that. What did they get to? There has to have been some kickback, something that.
Let me tell you what the payout is. The premier's wife, who is the sole real estate
This is the
agent.
premier on the screen here, right?
Yes, the premier. He's smiling all over to the bank.
Oh my gosh.
The premier's wife is the sole agent to try to acquire the acreage needed for this development. They're saying 2,400 acres, you can go even higher than that. You could imagine the commission on selling 2,400 acres of land? The fee here is 10% of the value of the land. So imagine for a moment how much money she stands to make. The premier himself, he has a law firm. His law firm, guess who's going to do all of the property transfers, all of the CBI applications, all the legal work? His law firm. So between them, they potentially can make anywhere between 90 and 120 million dollars.
Wow.
This is no joke.
Folks, stop and let that sink in. Let that sink in. So he and his wife, so he would have had the information to pass to his wife, allegedly. So now it's like insider trading that is happening there. So he was able to pass information onto her. And allegedly that's how she knew of it. And now she's able to make it. So she's a sole realtor. And then it is now being alleged that his law firm is the firm that is handling all of the real estate dealings. Oh my goodness. This
is all nicely packaged for them to benefit on this. There are 144 lawyers between St. Kitts and Nevis. There are many real estate agents on St. Kitts and Nevis. Is it coincidence that it just happened to be her law firm, her realty company? It just happened that his law firm is the one being used primarily. I mean, it is so outrageous. It's so outrageous that there's a gentleman by the name of Graham Brooks. He's one of the investors and he lives in England, in the UK. And when there are hard cases with division landowners who don't want to sell, he comes in and has his meetings in the conference room of the premier's law firm.
So hold a minute, and you're telling me divisions are going to leave this man in power? Why isn't he removed like now? What are you doing about this? This is the heights of corruption. If this is what it is, sir, if these allegations are true, this is the heights of corruption. And what I'm hearing, Barbadians, I'm hearing that it's being alleged that key government officials, I'm saying, I got the names, Dr. Daly, but I'm being very careful what I'm saying here, that there are people in key government roles in Barbados who are connected to this law firm.
Interesting.